Hi everyone, I'm back. It is September 30th, last day of the month, 2024. Before I begin, I have to give my disclaimer that anything that I say here, I'm not claiming as fact and that this is for entertainment purposes only. And with that said, may you find some fact and entertainment also. I'm taking a deep breath. My hire's ready to shoot. Andrea, we will take course to a famous person. Okay. We will invite Miss Annie Oakley. Wow. We will. I just asked Annie if she would be willing. She says, yes, I will. Easily come to bring message. Annie Oakley. I know she was a shot. I know she was like the best in the West, she's saying. Andrea, I was East Coast. Rivalry. Gun. Fighter. Gun contestant. I traveled nearly half the world. In about 5 years. The length to my career depended solely on my desire to continue or to retire from the gun shows, showings, contests. She says, Andrea, when I was below the belt, my father's belt, nearly 6 years old, I hit a pumpkin with the wrist rocket. She's saying it was a slingshot. His aunt. Go ahead. My shot caught my dad's eye. Or was it, did you just say mother? Andrea, it was my mom's eye. I need to pause. Hold on, guys. Sorry about that, guys. I should know better than to leave my phone on when I'm doing a reading. Annie. Okay, so you caught your mother's eye when you hit a pumpkin when you were 6. She was just over 5. My mom knew I had something the moment she saw that shot. For her eyes not believing it. It must have been far then, huh? My shot was over 60 yards. And I hit the pumpkin straight in the center of it. My mom asked if I could do that again. She handed me a stone. She liked to use small round rocks. As round as she could find them. For my mother's stone that she handed me, it hadn't been round. It was rather oval and flat. I took to the shooting of it anyway. It was, to my surprise, with a rock shaped like that, that I hit the pumpkin top right on the top hat, like right on the tip of his head. I made no games of missing my shot. I told my mother I would find the right rock for my doing the shot over and getting it right this time. I got it right this time. For all of the years that I shot, I got it right. Right every time. She says I had missed one shot. When her name was below the board, so she was like the last person, or close to the. She was the last person to shoot in a contest. She's saying at a shooting bonanza, but it's a contest, event. She says, Andrea, the event was for competing. And she was yet to squander. She says, I was yet to squander. I wasn't, sorry, come again. She said, I would not forget soon squandering for my focus. Squandering my focus when I missed that shot. I had failed to win that one contest, that one rival. We were rivals, Andrea. Are you saying gunslinger or gun shooter? She said, Andrea, I was a shooter. I shot straight. On my mark. Every time. Except that one time. She says, I knew I had arrived. I'm sorry. Are we still talking about the shot you missed? She said yes. It was all of my only failing. And not wanting to miss this shot, of telling of that shot she missed. She's choosing to speak of it. She says, I arrived short noon. Just short of noon. For my eyeing the target. For her practicing. And we practice prior to arriving. We were warmed up when we got there. In other words, she's saying there was no opportunity to do so there. Andre, we were all grand with the being familiar with the guns in our hand, the gun in our hands. And for that, we twirled them, and we whirled them, and we tipped them. I don't know what. Go ahead. What does that mean? She's saying when she would tip her hat. She would tip her hat to her fellow shooting men. Shootmen, she's calling them. Marksmen? Andrea, they were shooters. I watched the first shooter. He nailed his target. Second shooter missed by a hair his target. The third one in the finale was, you guessed it, Annie Oakley. For all the spinning and all of the winning I had done in my head, for all of my boots that I had worn out setting up targets back and forth, she's saying, for all that I had in me capable of landing that shot I was not to land, for the shaking of my hand holding my gun, which used to soothe it. So you got nervous, Andrea, in so many words. Nervous doesn't describe. The way I began to feel right after I arrived. Okay? She said, Andrea, I gave none to the noon bell. She's saying the lunch bell. When lunch struck noon, I was worse for my knowing that she hadn't had a meal. I wanted to eat. But for my soothing, my gun in my hand, for her warming up, I was to decide that I would eat after the shooting event. She says, I was with my locals then. My home turf or county? My home turf. And I had plenty of my townsmen from my home there supporting me, and they were cheering for me. The sound of the crowd, the crowding people cheering for me, made late my distance. For upon firing, I hadn't yet settled to the point of target. So you shot early? She said, Andrea, I shot very, very soon before I should have. It was my lonely afternoon, although all my folk were there. Go ahead. I'm having a hard time hearing you, babe. She said, Andrea, I missed my target where the trembling in my hand began. It did begin with the sound of my townfolk. I had missed the opportunity for the viewing of. She's saying the whole town was there to cheer her on and she missed it. She said, I missed it like I was in hell for the turbulence within my hand. She said, as I watched my hand shaking, it was not stopping. For the soothing, my mind told, for me, for the calming of my hand. She's saying nothing that she told herself was going to do. She says, and for that, for the first time, I was unsteady and unsure of when, not what to do, but I was unsteady in what next I should do. So you, go ahead. She said, I did draw a blank. Only it wasn't from a gun. For all the weights and measures, for all the steady and true viewings that are sights that I've had on my target. There was little to come of it. Little to come of my shot, for it hadn't even hit its target. The area within the target, outside the target. So, okay. So that where did that shot go? Up? She said it went up and to my left. She said I can almost see it flying out, up, towards the sky. Okay, so you got nervous. She said, Andrea, I took center stage for my fame in front of more people than my town all put together. I mounted to. And most were there to see me. Okay, so you're used to the crowd. So what happened? I'm sorry. Sorry, Annie, please. She says what happened was it became a zoo. I became a zoo. For all the monkeying around that was happening inside of me, my nerves, as if monkeys were stomping, trampling up and down, and swinging from my nerves like they were vines. And I had never felt that in all my time. At the line she's talking about during shooting. I was a Class A marksman in every sense of the word. There was no competition I couldn't beat, and few who dared to try to beat me. It made no good sense for my not hitting that shot, for me firing early that shot. And yet it's what happened. It was not a shot unfired. What she's saying is once it's shot, you can't turn back. Andrea, there's no fixing the bullet's intent. Once it's sent, right? I mean, you can't will your bullet to turn to the right. I'm just kidding. She said, Andrea, if I would have willed it to the right, perhaps maybe it would have went right. But I was, go ahead. I had lost my sight. For anything but where that bullet went. And how far it went into the sky. For my not viewing of it. Finding that bullet. The thought in that moment had sought me. For in her mind, if she had that bullet, she could look at it and know what happened. Maybe the bullet would tell her what had blinded her. She said maybe that bullet had eyes and a mouth that was smiling, laughing at her. You were humiliated, right? She said, I felt humiliation sweep through me. Like a wave of, go ahead, blood through my coffin. She said I was in hell. For it, there was a humbling of me as that bullet took to the sky. And a humbling never known to me for my reaching my bullet not ever for the sky. My targets, my bullets hit my targets every time. Excuse me, guys, I was feeling nauseous. She's kind of sending me that feeling. I'm sorry, I don't understand that. She cried upon her own shoulders after she was out of sight, out of the view of the people within her sight. She cried for her not knowing that feeling. It was so new, for not knowing what to do and how to deal with these feelings that she was so unfamiliar with. She cried and wished out loud for that feeling to subside. She said, I wanted to wave it goodbye, for it being the last time ever that I would be known to it. So what happened after that? She said, I cried a little more than just then. At first it was daily, and then that came and went. The crying wasn't for the wetting of my eyes. It was for the reminding of where not to put my eyes. So you put what? She said, Andrea, I put my eyes on the target, missing the entire thing completely for my eyeing the target. She had done by go ahead, kind of like a squinting for her honing in. She said I could shoot a pellet, a BB, in the sky, from the sky. Go ahead. That's something that one cannot see with the eye. And for my bullet, my aim finding it. Go ahead. Without her eyes on it. She said, Andrea, I was guided when my eyes were squinted for the seeing of it upon which, with the gun in my hand, other eyes, Andrea, the eyes I saw my target with were not the ones visible to you, are not the ones that I see you with. The eyes that sought my target for aim was the eye within my head. Oh, you're talking about your third eye. Andrea, my extrasensory ability to make good my target was very much from my third eye. For her, she never had to try do that third eye. With my third eye, I made waste my target every time. When I cried, I cried for my third eye. For feeling I had done something to offend it or damage it. She said that third eye is what made me cry. For my loving having the use of it and fearing any damage I may have done to it. Very interesting. Yeah, this is kind of this is not where I thought this would go. That's awesome. Andrea, through my third eye, or with the use of my third eye, I became one of 2 of the best shooters the world had ever known. She says I'm not my target. Go ahead. She said I am still a toe on the map, on the records. So she's she says I am getting beat. My record's been getting beat as the years go by one by one by one, meaning so much time has passed. I felt for the vision of those to come after me, for the knowledge of knowing if they're using their third eye when they're beating the records that I had using mine. She said from what I can see, she's in the higher realm, she sees everything and knows everything. She was the only one. So all of these others that are beating you, they're using their human eye. She said yes. She says they aimed high. They aimed high. They wanted to beat my record. They wanted to beat me for the books. And it was their will, their desire, more than it was their sharp eye. That took me off the board all but my toes. Andrea, I wanted to return to gunfight in the rodeos. She said for the ease in which she did that, she wouldn't need any sight at all whatsoever. She said it was something that I knew. Somewhere I could go that I know. For the comfort and the ease of it. When I held my my 6-shooter, go ahead. Go ahead. This one's hard because I'm gonna take just a break. I'll be right back. It won't slow you down. Okay, I'm back, guys. Sorry. Annie, go ahead. I need you to speak a little louder. She says, I tried for the sake of my third eye. For the not knowing of it. So she tried to not use it and just use her eyes. For her not wanting to make tears her third eye. She didn't want to almost like a disrespect her third eye by missing a shot. So she just wanted to rely on just her two eyes. For the saving of my third eye, it's due. It's dimming of glory. Wow. Did you have that is your pineal, of course. Did you have other abilities than that? I grew to view. That which was outside of even my bullet's sight. Like she could see things further than her bullets could fly. And it always came to her. No. Sorry. God. And I was made known. The bullet I missed. Where it had landed from the sky. You did. This is later on though, huh? Andrea, when my two eyes sought for it, for me it was blind. I was blind. When my third eye when I sent it thought to find it, the sight I was given. That's interesting because I've been kind of wanting to consider. I'm just like kind of tossing that around in my mind. I'm not quite sure what my motive would be in doing that though, and I think that's why I haven't gone forward with training of it. Andrea, in my foresight, a bullet's gone from my barrels. I sought for only one. So what she's saying is that she did have capabilities other than just hitting her target, but because she hit her target all but once, she never stretched for that eye except for that one time. She says, I regret not having missed more targets and lost more bullets for my understanding of my own third eye and finding them. I laid my cases, my guns in their cases after a time. After the rivaling of my time, I became glue as an old horse would become. for not being in view anymore. For not shooting in public, being a public, I was in the public eye. For a quick blink of an eye of my life, of my time. For a short time in her life. It will only be always for my eyes seeing it. For her eyes seeing it as a thing of something she used to do. You chose to retire. She said, I chose to burn fires, sit straight against the wind for their blazing, and for her eyes to be admired. She loved to watch it, the fire just. She said, I burned everything there on my ranch, except the iron stove. Oh, that iron stove. She said, as many flames as I would throw, it just could not dent that iron stove. For the feeling of me through your eyes right now, Andrea. You sense me a heart of stone. She said, I have always been a stone. Long before I was ever grown. When I went home, go ahead. She said, when I went home, a coldness settled inside of me. Not changing no matter how close she got to the stove. I sought warmth. I sought to warm my loneliness, my dividedness from those within my home. For them not knowing me other than for my stone's throw. I became rather flat in their eyes, as flat as a rug thrown down. My hollowness, after being so completely full with their admirers, with their admiring of me, their adoration, their starstruckness. I was always somebody. But to them, I was only once Oakley Annie. Beyond that, much like the events in my final pages of my life's events, of her living, go ahead. She says, Andrea, my storm came without any rain. My storm came with my loss of fame. My family had found me handy. For the viewing of it, me, the crowds that offered so much money. They collected the nectar from their bee. I was their bee. I was their honey bee. And what a fine bee I was to them for all the honey that they could squeeze from me. Left lonely. Like a one drop of rain. When it was all over, when she was done with her career, it found her. She says, in one drop of pain, I felt so much. In one drop of rain, I felt so much pain. For my not imagining, feeling a real rain. I did burn my ranch. My family's ranch. My family and I. For their doing of me without payment of a red cent. Wow. Okay, so you were a minor, and they were not. They were custodial payees. My funds. And for me, they show in her their empty pockets, and anything in them had been carried off into the breeze. Like there was nothing to show for it. They had no. Andrea, they ruled over my whole life's future. When they ruled to remain with no funds. Oh, wow. That is there's now a law in effect. I know that you know that, Annie. Childhood stars, there's laws in place that insist that a share be given trust. And if it's not something that the parents or custodial guardians handle, then they will appoint someone to do so. I'm sorry that happened to you. It sounds like it was a shock to you. Andrew, I had never worried for the rain, ever. For my fame, do my fame, and the security that it brought me to shelter me whenever it did rain. I'm sorry. So there was, you separated from them. She said, I carried my flame. The same way I carried my pain. With a blaze. A shot to the targets of my flame I chose and hit. When the stove began its laughing at me for it still standing there, I gave for that stove not seeing me not one tear. I walked down that dirt trail road. Saying over and over to myself, I'm out of here, I'm out of here, I'm out of here. And out of there I went. Not anything but what I was wearing. And carrying not one red cent. What'd you do after that? I carried my... I'm sorry? I'm hearing guitar case. I carried a guitar case. For with what was in it, I could sing. I felt the singing wanting to come out of me. Before and during and even after the rain. That I could not put to voice. Go ahead. But I could not get bring my voice to sound like I heard it through my third eye. And for that, I gave my singing career a swift kick goodbye. I was fumbling She said I was thumbing to the strings of my own demise. With every bar I met, every drink I met, every sailor's goodbye. I fell. Go ahead. I fell before my third eye. And she joined with it the day that she willingly died. Did you drink yourself to death or did you take your life? I took my life. How? I don't know this part of your story. I don't know much at all. She said, Andrea, I took my life out. Like they took out my pennies for my earning of them. It's getting really warm. I'm not feeling so good, Annie. She said so many times she tried to die. She tried to soothe herself, kill herself. But each time she would fail, it would bring her to cry. And for my third eye seeing of it, I wanted to die. And finally, upon the last time, I failed. Go ahead. Just, Andrea, I wish to take out my third eye. For its knowing of my smallness made me want to die. So you didn't take your life. She says, Andrea, I took only out my third eye. I sheltered it from my view, or from its view. I understand that. It's easy to close the eye. She said she refused to ever open it again. She never saw again through that third eye. She lived out her days being a wife in the countryside. Her favorite thing was she had geese. Andrea, they were not my geese. I love to watch them fly. She says this recording's winter has come. And she's out. Wow. I have such a headache from that. Annie, my head is killing me. She's sending me the way that she felt the third eye felt when it looked upon her. She was ashamed. I would have thought your third eye would have brought you more than that, babe. And for her crying, for her distancing herself from any kind of sunshine on her, for any kind of healing. She became, of her eyes, shy. Thank you, Annie. Okay, guys, it's an hour one. Woo. Thanks for hanging in. Annie, thank you for sharing your story. She said, Andrea, I view you from above, where I am. And for you, I can only see for you the light in all of your eyes. Well, thank you. I'm glad. Sorry, but your fate just sounded horrible, babe. You were sad. A few good years she had. But for the story of Annie Oakley and what became of her, she highlighted that area of her life. Thank you, Annie. Thanks, guys. See you next time.